Okay, we're here today. We're actually going to start highlighting businesses in the Yonge and Lawrence and Yonge and Eglinton area. And we thought it would be great to start with one of the businesses we've done a lot of business with in the past, whether it was our events or gifts for our clients. So today we're at Sweetie Pie at 3301 Yonge Street. We're here with Tina, one of the owners. Hi there. And obviously Steve as well, myself. So again, we're doing this to kind of highlight the businesses in the area, bring, if we can, more attention to them, more business to them, and help the people in the area kind of understand and get to know the people that run these businesses. So first off, when did you start the business?
All right, thanks. So before we start, I just wanted to thank you guys for doing this and including us. We're, only been here about a year or so in this area. This is probably, I think, our 7th location. But Sweetie Pie itself started July 1st, 2020. So
that's that short time ago.
Yeah. We're only 3 years old, so 3 and a bit. We started. Our first store is located in Harbord Village, and right at Grace and Harbord. And first day we opened July 1st. First pie ever sold. So what would I say? Probably March or April. My partner Cesario came home one day and said, "Hey, what do you think about opening up a little cafe or something?" He grew up in the Harbord Village area. His parents still live there. And he said, I was driving by and there's a place for lease right across from this beautiful park. Maybe we open a little cafe. I was working full-time as a social worker. I'd been doing it for 20 some odd years. He has his businesses that he does otherwise. And he thought, maybe we open this. He's always wanted to own a little restaurant or a cafe.
Without any restaurant, did it have something?
Nope. Nothing.
Wow.
So I always had a part-time job in the service industry, and he's had several businesses. He owned a chicken company. He owned a few different companies, but we've never owned a restaurant or a cafe.
He's pretty entrepreneurial.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. So we went and looked at this space. It was a malt shop. And they served coffee and they served different things. And the owners had decided that they were going to work on their family. They had young kids. They had a lot going on and they just couldn't dedicate it to the business anymore. So we went, and it was a very old building. It needed to be gutted, everything. And we looked around and I thought, okay, he's crazy. It's great. And we left. And then he came home one day and said, we got the lease. And I'm like, what do you mean? To what? What did we get the lease to? And he said, the store at Harbord, we're going to open the shop. And it all started from there. We hired a baker because neither of us had really baking experience. We hired a baker, we hired some staff, and we sat down one day and just started coming up with recipes, coming up with products, colors, the name, all of it. And we opened July 1st, 2020.
So you built it and then it will come. They will come.
Yeah.
No plan, no before.
It was absolutely terrified. I remember the day we opened, and I'm thinking, is anyone going to come in and buy a pie? And why? We had no idea. We really hadn't really started social media for it. We hadn't, it was all brand new, and so we were smart in the sense of we had ice cream, and that brought people back in the neighborhood, we'll pop in for ice cream. And then we were telling them about our pies. We sampled. I did sell an apple pie that day. Took a picture of the person who bought it and me together. And initially it started off slow, which was July and August and September. And then Thanksgiving hit. And wow, did Thanksgiving hit. I think we got an order, 200 different orders for pies. So now we have this tiny bakery with a basement where we were banging out pies, a few pies, and now we had to kind of regroup. Cesario had a different company, and we actually had to build a kitchen in a warehouse to be able to make all these pies and bring the equipment in and do all of this.
So was the name Sweetie Pie there at that time?
No. So when we opened, yes. So we came up with Sweetie Pie. Cesario and I sat down one day and we were trying to think of a name. And it was my idea. I came up, I don't know, I just thought Sweetie Pie. We were trying to think of a pun on pies or a play on pies. And Sweetie Pie came up. So we checked to make sure it wasn't trademarked in Canada. And we bought the domain mysweetiepie.ca. And that's...
Did you actually get this trademark?
I don't know if he's got a trademark, but it wasn't owned by anybody.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it started there, and then we had a really good Thanksgiving, like I said, and we had a really good Christmas. And so Cesario, the entrepreneur in him, said, my real estate guy, he needs a real estate guy. His real estate guy says, you
stopped a
know,
long time ago.
he said, oh, there's a
commercial.
spot on Queen.
Yeah.
And so we looked at a spot on Queen, and then in April we opened in Queen. And then in May, I heard, hey, we have a spot in Unionville. And come June, July, we opened in Unionville of the next year. And so we had the 3 stores, and Unionville was great. Queen was a bit slower just because of the pandemic. Not many people were out. It wasn't the same traffic. But Unionville, because it's a tourist area,
Right,
did well.
more tourist area.
And then we just kind of kept growing from there. And then, like I said, about a year and a bit ago, we opened here.
So I was going to ask what your mission was, but you didn't have a mission, it sounds like, at the beginning.
Can I tell you my mission
Yeah.
was? It was my retirement plan.
Right.
So it's no longer my retirement plan. For me, working in the human services field, it can get very tiresome and very hard at times. After 20 years of working with families and children in Toronto, dealing with a lot of tough issues, it was kind of nice of an idea to think like maybe I could exit that career and do something nice, like serving pie and coffee and, you know, and doing something like that. And so I kept my job for 2 years. And then as the company grew, I needed to retire. And now my retirement plan of one little cafe to run turned into CEO of 9.
So we know this. We know this place obviously. That's right. We know this place obviously. But if you went to every store, would you find essentially the same setup?
Yeah, they're all, it depends on the store in the sense of the size. So we have a store in Leaside at 1639
Yeah.
Bayview. It's probably the size of this, like the entire store, including the kitchen, is maybe less than what we're sitting in right now. So they aren't able to have sit in, but they have a really cute patio. If you were to go to, I'm trying to think, our First Canadian Place store, right, which is on the concourse level at 100 King Street, it's just a takeout, right? People can come in, but there's nowhere to be. But it's all very white. It's very pink. You'll have the same products.
Same products.
Same products, except, like I said, First Canadian Place doesn't have ice cream just because they can't fit it. And we just opened across from Sick Kids. Sick Kids is probably the closest one to this. It's on University, right across from the Hospital of Sick Children, and they can sit in, and it's very similar.
Your thoughts on all this? Now you have 9 now in such a short period. Is your idea to franchise eventually?
So we actually were at the franchise show this year. So we were there, when was it? September, I think, was the franchise show. So we generated a lot of interest. We're right now working with a few people who wanted to open just outside of the city. So we had interest in Kleinburg, which I think will still be a go, except they're doing construction in the main part of Kleinburg over the next year. So we wanted to delay that one because we want the person who's going to take it on to be successful. And
Right.
you know, as soon as they rip up the main street, no one's
Edmonton.
exactly right. And then there's some other interest in Oakville and down on Lakeshore and Mississauga. So right now we're working with like a franchise person
Right.
doing all of that.
That's what.
Yeah.
What would you say is unique about your business in comparison to other, I guess, bakeries or pie shops?
Yeah, well, I think one of the things we talked about was that there isn't necessarily a lot of pie shops in Toronto.
Right.
So there are some wonderful pie shops, and I don't want to take away from there. There's Wanda's Pie in the Sky in Kensington, there's Mabel's, there's a lot of different places in Toronto that serve pie. The Rolling Pin, they're all excellent, but they're not necessarily fully about pies, and they're not necessarily in as many places as we are. So I think that makes us unique, is that whereas we carry similar products, we really are a pie shop more than anything, and that's where we kind of anchor ourselves. So you can come in for coffee and a pie. You can come in for ice cream and a pie. So we're trying to pair things in a way. We do savory pies. So we're trying to keep our menu focused around pies with a few add-ons, because I don't get it, but not everyone loves pie. So they might like brownies or cookies and things like that. So we're trying to keep it focused on pies, but with add-ons so that everyone can be catered to in our stores.
I have gatherings with friends, so I brought a few pies. I didn't know what to choose. They all look good, so I chose all of them. So I bought all.
Thank you.
Bought all 3 for them, and then they said, "Oh, you know," and they said, "Where'd you get this?" "Oh, a sweetie pie." And they said, and then I told them the price. Listen, it's priced correctly for what you're getting. They said they kind of say, wait, you can buy it at
You can buy it at the
you can
grocery
buy
store.
it here at the grocery store. And I said, do me a favor, just try it first.
That was
Yeah.
before they tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This is before they tried it. They said, and then they tried it.
And then you get it.
I get it. I get it. That's true. That's a true story.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, if we want to talk about price point, because we do get a lot of people talking about it. So our large pies are 1,000 grams of fruit. So if you go to the grocery store, you're getting fruit, you're getting thick thing of crust, you're getting air.
Right.
With us, and you can feel it when you carry our pies. It's a kilo. It's a kilo. It will feed 8 people happily. So our pies are $26.99. Everything is made by hand. If you come to our kitchen, the bakers make the dough from scratch. They roll it out. They hand lattice it. So if you've ever made a pie, you know the amount of work that goes into making a pie. So now imagine that with fresh ingredients, with everything. You can't get that at a grocery store. You're getting the mass produced.
That's the first thing that they said.
Yeah.
They said, oh my God, okay. The fruit is what they.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
they,
full.
They just bit into it.
Here's the one thing I noticed from your pies and your cookies. They're not as sweet
No.
as
We don't
most of the
mask it with just a
pies
bunch
and
of
the.
sugar.
That's the one thing I've noticed from your pies and the
Yeah.
cookies as well.
Yeah.
They're not as sweet, which I thought it's you don't feel as sick after you eat them, right?
Yeah. So we try and use the best ingredients. So in our cookies, we use real Belgian chocolate. We use Calibou chocolate. And if anyone knows anything about a chocolate, this Belgian chocolate is phenomenal. So a lot of people will use confectioner's chocolate, or they'll use different chocolates that are very high in sugar. They're dense, they're cheaper, that sort of thing. So we don't need to fill our things with sugar. Say our blueberry pie. It's wild blueberries, it's fresh lemon juice, it is a bit of sugar. But you're getting the natural occurring sugars from the fruits, so we don't need to and again, it's not preservatives. So our pies are made fresh. So you can buy one of our pies. They're not going to last a month, right? You can put them in your fridge. You can have them for a week or so. But the grocery store pies need preservatives in them. And they need that to make them last and be shelf stable. And that's what makes us different, is that we're making them and baking them fresh for you.
Is that why they're not as liquidy inside, or you don't see the jelly that you see in most pies?
Well,
or
we don't use gelatin.
Okay, that's why.
We have had people at times, so it will solidify, right? So I want to clarify this. If you ever get a pie when it's cold, because the juices will solidify, but as soon as you warm it up, it won't. But for the most part, that's just because it's the sugar and the juices doing
better
that.
to warm up the pie.
Oh, it's always better to warm up the pie and put ice cream on top.
Right.
That's kind of the best way to do it. But yeah, with our cookies, with everything, we try not to just over sugar things, because and we tell people, our pecan pie is very sweet, but that's the nature of a pecan pie. So if you come in looking for something not so sweet, we're the first to tell you, pecan pie isn't the way to go. Try something more savory. Say something like our apple pie, which is warm, and nutmeg and cinnamon and those types of flavors, and Macintosh apple. So it really, you don't need a lot of sugar in order for that to taste good.
So I recommend, and this was the criteria, do not touch it. Don't put any vanilla on it first.
Oh, really?
No, it was like taste it on
Yes.
its own.
Yes.
It's for what it is, and then do all. And it was a success. I
Oh,
can tell
that's
you.
good. Well, thank you so much for bringing our pies to your party.
So, what's your most memorable experience here, or any of the stores?
Oh, it's funny when we talked about some of the questions that you might be asking, I was thinking that, and it's so funny because I don't necessarily have one that stands out.
Our events, maybe?
Oh my gosh, the
Saying-
Property Boy events, both of them have been phenomenal. It's funny because every store has something, and it's funny because my managers at the stores will all say, oh, so-and-so is your favorite, or so-and-so, this store is your favorite, or this one's your baby, or how come you like this one more? But it's not. It's like having 9 kids, and they each have something amazing and different. And we've done events. Like here, we've done events, which is so much fun, having the patio, having everyone from the community coming, you guys being so amazing, and giving out our pies and getting our name out there is amazing. I'm trying to think, like my favorite part, in all honesty, in all the stores is I'm a dog lover, and Harvard is right across from Bickford Dog Park. So we get all the dogs stop in, the parents grab a coffee and grab a treat. So we have, in all of our stores, we have dog bowls and dog treats. So we get all the dogs from the neighborhoods in every store. So it's just such a nice thing. We do events for dog rescues, we'll do donations. We're a part of a calendar for a rescue that we donate to. like we just try and be part of the community in every single area we are. We're doing an event on Queen Street where we're handing out cookies and hot chocolate. We're doing a food drive. The BIA approached us, so we're going to do that. And like I said, there's so many amazing things that we can do as business owners in the different BIAs, just to be part of the community. So like I said, not other than the Property Boys events, nothing really stands out as like the most memorable experience, just because we have so many great experiences.
So it's essentially your marketing essentially is word of mouth, would you say?
Yeah.
More so than anything else?
Social media.
So we do some social media. I run it, probably to my detriment. We should probably have someone a little bit more in tune to it. But, we run our own social media. We do, it's part of who we are as a small business. I know it sounds crazy having 9 stores and still considering yourself a small business, but we are. And we employ people from the community. We try and make it very family oriented. We do things ourselves. Like I said, you'll see me working in the stores at times as the baker. You'll see me at
I remember
events.
seeing you at one summer. It was super hot in here when you just opened, and you were baking right back
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And there was no air in here. The
Yeah,
AC wasn't
we
working,
hadn't-
right?
Yeah, we hadn't
So
got the AC fixed because again, old buildings, right? But there's so many different things that we do, and we just, like I said, we're still a small business. We're still family owned. We're family run. I like it that way. Like as we grow and expand, we talked about franchising. It's kind of like giving away a little, a part of your family. But like I said, it's just, we've done so well, and it's just been such an amazing experience. And, the people in Toronto are just phenomenal. They've accepted us. They've made us their pie shop, their go-to place for the holidays. And, we couldn't be more thankful.
maybe just to end it off, maybe share with everyone what maybe some of the new products for the Christmas season
Yeah.
are going to be. And
Yeah, so we just started cookie cakes or cookie pies or whatever you want to call it. Basically 10-inch cookies that you can get done. So we're going to do Christmas ones with like Santa on them or snowmen on them and Christmas trees. So you could send someone, a big old cookie for Christmas. We're going to do some platters where we can do mini butter tarts and cookies that you can take to festive events. Our traditional apple pie is always the go-to everyone wants for Christmas. You can order an apple crumble. We're just going to have a few different things. We're going to try some white cranberry surprises coming soon. Our ginger molasses cookie will be back soon. So we'll have lots of stuff for the holidays. We have Hanukkah coming up. We have Christmas coming up. There's so many reasons to celebrate. So we'll make sure that we have something for everyone.
We can help out with that too sometimes. I think we never, if there's something that you want to pitch, I mean, we have a general
Taste testers?
database.
Is that
or,
what
or no, not just, well, we can help with that too. But no, in a sense, if you want to pitch something new or something that is actually successful, we can actually maybe pitch it, collaborate,
Yeah.
and work through our social media and or our
Amazing.
email, our database.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. So yeah, we come up with different ideas. I think we try and keep it fresh, like I said, coming up with some new ideas and stuff, but really anchoring in the fact that we're still a pie shop and we want to keep our identity as a pie shop. We're coming up with some new ideas in the New Year's for new savory pies, anything to do with pie. And we take suggestions too. So if anyone in the community, we get calls all the time saying, can I get this or can we try this? We're always open to hearing from people about things that they like, and we're willing to try.
We love the versatility of the pies because you get those samplers. Those,
Yes.
They're 6
Yes.
inches.
Five
This is what we give away at
Yeah.
the events, right?
Yeah.
A little bit bigger, I think. Ours are a little bit bigger than
No,
this.
they're 5 inch.
Oh, yeah?
They're all just 5
Well,
inch
5
pies.
inches. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And
The individual size
And if you
pie.
can't decide, honestly, that's your best bet. You just grab those.
Five.
Yeah, the individuals. But what we do too is we tell people all the time, if you're coming in, and because people will ask, what's your favorite pie? And it's such a personal thing that you can't, like, my favorite pie might not be something that you like versus something you like. And what I explain to people is everyone loves to try a little bit of everything. So those 5-inch pies are perfect for a party because you can cut little tiny pieces, cut them into 4s, and then that way everyone gets to try a little bit without sitting there with one big piece of pie in front of them thinking, oh, I really want to try what they have. So it's fun for parties, it's fun for samplers, it's fun for the office because, again, if
You don't feel-
anyone,
sorry,
yeah,
Joy,
you
we
don't
don't
feel
feel as
full.
guilty
Yeah,
either.
and you
That's
don't
it.
feel as full, right? So you can go back and try a few.
It's like the Halloween mini, the chocolates. You eat 30. Yeah, you wouldn't eat one big chocolate bar, but
Exactly.
you've had like 5, right?
But you've now had 30, yeah, exactly.
You feel better.
You do.
Still feel better.
Mentally.
Small 30 than the one big.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
true. It's true. Yeah. So listen, thanks so much, Tina, for giving us the time to kind of share what you guys do. Let everyone know where they can find you guys. Social media,
Yeah.
website.
Yeah, so our website is mysweetiepie.ca. Our social media handles, so Instagram, again, same thing, mysweetiepie.ca, as well as TikTok. We're not as active on TikTok because I really need to get better at that.
Just do what we do. Just take the thing on Instagram and share it onto
and
TikTok.
share it onto
Yeah.
TikTok. Is that the secret? So just basically Google mysweetiepie.ca and everything comes up with that name.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.